Well, good morning everyone. Welcome to this brisk morning. It was a very slight frost this morning. Sun's just come up. We're all going to pile in. Might look like a bit of a clown car, but we're going to pile in and go down to the new lease block, pick up all the bits and pieces and bring them back. So there's 5 of us need to fit. We're going to leave Dad behind. We've figured out we don't need him, so...
You didn't want the baby seat, did you, mate?
No, Phil's just pulling a baby seat out. Brad's the latest one here. That's a bit of a shock.
No.
I rocked up. Josiah was waiting here for me,
and one. That's the shock.
Yeah, well, that's the shock. But that's what I'm saying is, Josiah said I was perfectly on time.
There you go.
So.
Well, at least that's on camera for once.
Yeah. Well. That's harsh but fair. But yes, it is a little bit nippy this morning.
6 degrees up here.
It's at 6 degrees up here, so it was a little bit more fresher down below.
You're saying 3 at the moment. For the people in the northern hemisphere, we're just a bit soft.
Yeah. But we put up with the heat at the other end of the other season. Oh, do I get the front? Man, this YouTube thing has its benefits. So, we got us 4 are in here for the minute, and then on the way we're going to pick up Johnny, and he's going to take the grasshopper back to the development block. So, yeah.
Well, have a good one.
Road trip. So I just got the window down for a minute. Josiah's probably a little fresh back there, but here we have. It's a nice shot here with the wheat coming up. I don't think there's any rows missing. Josiah actually planted that, so good job. They all you planted them all the right way up. But yeah, it's nice to see a green tinge over pretty much everything we've planted here. Yeah, no, the headlands here are a little bit average, so there's a bit of work.
You always got to look into the sun.
Oh, I was
it always
before.
looks better.
I was before. I don't know if that'll come up, but yeah, it's quite quite nice to see. Yeah, this is the new bank Phil put in, and yeah, just with it all being disturbed, there wasn't quite the moisture there. Anyway, I better wind this window up so Josiah doesn't freeze back there. Well, we made it, all piled out of the car. Yeah, so I just got a couple little things to do. Josiah's going to get going on that, take it over to the truck, and then yeah, top it up with a little bit of fertiliser that's in there. So put that in the air cart so the truck's empty, because then we've got to at some point get some chickpea seed in the yellow truck ready for the lease block. So I've got to just hop on the dozer here quickly to yeah, just move it out of the road. So that's a good comparison here too. The different, because the Steiger is a big tractor, but that dozer is still another, well, maybe not quite a metre, but it's another half a metre at least taller than that anyway. So she's a big thing. Right, we'll double check some fluids, turn the isolator on, we'll get into it. That's good, that started. This is a fun part. I can intimidate him. Ceases to amaze you how big these things are, to be honest. Once you work on these things for a while, you yeah, soon realise, you kind of get used to how big they are, and then nothing really phases you, and then yeah, it's not until you put like the tractor right beside it that you realise just, yeah, no, that is a big machine. Righto, let's not crash into anything I don't want to. go. Rippers down. Lay down. Well, there's a bit of excitement for the day. Righto, that's that. Well, I think I'll be probably driving one of the trucks back to the main farm, and we're just going to reconvene there to yeah, just get all sorted. And then there's the other place we're leasing, which is actually where my house is. There's 80 hectares there, so that's going to get sown, hopefully most of it today, we'll see. Sprayer, or the rogator, I think Brad's just checking out, there might be a slight coolant leak. We were fiddling around with the water pump and different things, so the coolant also goes to the AdBlue tank, and yeah, so it could be just a bit of a leak there somewhere. I think he's sorting that out. The other thing I realised I forgot was I made a coffee this morning, and I left it in my ute, so that was 3 hours ago, so I don't think it's going to be very warm still. Yeah, that's cold. Finding anything, Brad?
Nothing obvious yet. No.
Oh, might just have to send it. So what's going to happen is we're going to get this going, and then either Brad or I might go spraying. Probably me, and yeah, we're going to put down some pre-emergent spray before we sow at the block that my house is on. So that's the plan. It's probably going to be another hour, maybe hour and a half before the planter gets there, so I've got a bit of time to get sorted here. Right, we're ready to go. I'm going to have to freshen up my memory how to spray with this thing. It's been a little while. I think we should see Brad zoom past in the truck soon. He's going to go get the chickpeas. So yeah, chickpeas are going in on the lease block. So there's like 340 something hectares yeah, going in there. So that'll be good. That should be at some point this week. We'll be getting organised for that too. Get spraying. The guy should be, there he is. Well, they beat me to it. I think there's a little bit of work needs to be done on it, and then yeah, hopefully I can get this spray out. I can soak in a bit before the planter goes through, but we'll all just have to see how it pans out. We might find it's not worth it, too dry, and we'll just sit and reevaluate then. See if I can remember how to work this, and yeah, not break it. let's go. Let's not wipe out anything important. Ooh, she's a bit wider than the grasshopper. I'm gonna have to get my eye in, I think. Right, well, I'm gonna do the headland first, so I'm gonna have my hands full. Shouldn't take long and we'll get this done. So, just a quick little bit of history for those that may not have been able to follow along. It's very, this channel is very here and there, so it'd take 2 hours to explain all the intricacies of where everything is here and there and all that. So, I will just explain this block here, where my house is. It's 80 hectares. This is where that flood went through, and yeah, it was basically all of this was underwater. And there's still remnants of it. We yeah, burnt a lot of the stubble that was all just tangled up in a big mess, and we Kelly chained it, got it all smooth, stick picked it, but yeah, there's quite a few bits where the topsoil's been affected and quite a few sandy areas where the topsoil's been dumped to. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a mess, but one thing is this block also, up until last year, this was organic. We'd run it for organic for maybe 6-7 years, like something like that, maybe 6 years, and yeah, no, it went pretty good. But obviously weed control is a big problem. Now, the main reason we stopped was there is a certain weed which anyone that's been involved in farming, and probably especially 50 years ago or so, will know. It's called skeleton weed. Also, I think it's a bit of a problem or has been a bit of a problem in previous years in the US as well. But one thing is, back in the 50s, 60s, or somewhere around that time, it was just absolutely wreaking havoc, and the only means of weed control was cultivation. Now, skeleton weed actually loves being cultivated because you cut it off at the root and it'll grow back from that root up until like a metre down. So it doesn't matter how deep you try and cut it out, it'll grow back, and it'll grow back more. And so the more you cultivate it, the worse it gets. They did bring out a couple of biological controls. So the biological controls that they did bring out back then, which was, I think there was a midge, there was a rust, something else, to deal with it, and they did a certain job, obviously longer term. But yeah, because when chemicals came through and to deal with it, it virtually eradicated the problem, and it hasn't really been a problem since. But then obviously going back to organic, you can't use the chemicals, and it started to come up and get worse and worse and worse. The only means we could control it was yeah, to cultivate it, obviously grazing it, and with organics it's tricky, and they don't even really eat skeleton weed very much. So yeah, it was just going to get to the point where it would get worse and worse, to the point where it would be a problem to try to deal with it with chemical. And yeah, we just decided to pull it. And also not having stubble cover, because we're cultivating it, obviously not having stubble cover, if we get a flood come through, we lose all our topsoil, and that's very, very not good. So a few reasons, but basically, yeah, that's where we're at. And you can see the skeleton weed. I'm just coming up to a patch now. It loves the sandier, lighter soil. Really, really loves that. So you can see all this here, that tinge there, that's all skeleton weed. And it stays really low, right, or pretty well all through while you're growing your winter crop. Stays really small down on the ground, and then just basically near harvest time, it just shoots up this big stalk, and then when you try to harvest it, it gets tangled in the header, and it's an absolute pain. And obviously it's very, very yield reducing. It saps all the nitrogen in particular out of the soil, and you'll end up with basically little to no crop in those bad areas. So anyway, a little bit of a history lesson, bit of a weed lesson. Yeah, it's just one of the struggles that we face. Well, I was actually meant to help Phil just top up with Fert there, but I just missed that. They'll start calling me Blister here soon. I always show up when the hard work's done. Well, it's sun's about to set. Josiah's just taken over from Phil, and yeah, I think we're doing a bit of vehicle swapping. So Phil's going to take the Rogator back up to the main farm. I think I'll just give Phil a few moments. He's using the men's room. So it's going all right?
Yeah, no, going well.
Enough moisture?
Always can be expected.
Off 10 mil of rain.
Yeah. No, it's a little bit marginal where the grey sort of soil type is. But
so this block has got red, it's got sandy, it's got a bit of black, a bit of everything. So yeah, we'll soon work out what goes better with minimal moisture.
yeah, so no, we should be done our linseed here tonight.
Yeah, so you would have done 40 hectares?
Yeah, a bit over.
Yeah, how many hectares does Chile needs to fill up?
Oh, another 18 or something.
So another couple of hours.
Yeah. Probably have time to have a bit of a rest, and then better help him.
Yes, he'll be right by himself. Now I'll take. Actually, what I might do? What am I going to do? How am I going to get from here to there?
Drive this.
Yeah, but then I need to get the forklift.
You can walk 400 metres. Not that hard.
It is. It's real hard.
I need to work off that foot.
Yeah, I do have a bit of pudding. I need to cut back. Righto. Don't break it.
Says who?
Hey, I saved a lot of money pulling up when I did.
I thought you'd have a complex by now.
That's just because I'm doing the most work.
on the camera.
Yeah. I'll make it look that way anyway.
Editing is a great tool, isn't it?
I've put in a few of my stuff ups and all of that. Righto, catch ya. Maybe I've got a quick moment to throw the drone up, and then we'll call it a night, I reckon. See how far he gets tonight.
Well guys, it's a cracking morning today, very fresh, but there was a bit of a frost here. But we, yeah, Josiah finished up about 10:30 last night here, but just on the last run, yeah, one of the heads I think was just running a bit dry on seed, so there's still seed coming out, but yeah, while we're here, we're just going to do another strip. It's only 700 meters or something, so yeah, and just get that all sorted. Righto, we're going to fold up, head up, and get sorted. Might as well get set up for escorting. So the design of this thing messes with your head a bit, because it all flexes and moves in weird angles for like when you're going over contours and that. And yeah, it just works so well for that sort of thing, which is one of the reasons that we got it. But yeah, just amazing how much it can flex. Usually what happens is when it doesn't flex, you end up missing a bit on the contour, or yeah, it just rides up in the air or something like that. But it's got to be a very, very savage contour for it to do that. Beautiful. So it's only about 10 k's away, the main farm, maybe 12 k's, something like that. So it's not very far. We'll be there very shortly. Anyway, we'll probably leave the video there for now. We're going to just get this up, switch over to chickpeas. That'll all be in the next video, and get sown on the lease block. So just hit the like button if you enjoy the channel. It's the best way to support it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one.